Picard kept the same surprising item as Captain Pike on Star Trek: The Next Generation's Enterprise. When Star Trek: The Next Generation first aired in 1987, it boldly carried the legacy of the original series into the 24th century, reimagining the USS Enterprise for a new generation. Captain Jean-Luc Picard's command style, his crew, and even the ship's design all reflected a more evolved, intellectual vision of Starfleet's future. Yet despite these differences, there was one subtle link between Picard's sleek Galaxy-class starship and the rugged Constitution-class vessel once captained by Christopher Pike. Surprisingly, it was an object, a simple but powerful artifact that connected two very different captains across time: a wooden ship's wheel. Yes, a ship's wheel. On a starship. In space. You might miss it if you blink. In Pike's ready room aboard the Enterprise in the Cage, the unaired Star Trek pilot from 1965, a large wooden ship's wheel stands proudly in the corner. It's a callback to Earth's naval history, a silent tribute to the maritime traditions that birthed Starfleet's structure and philosophy. The wheel symbolized more than nostalgia. It was a symbol of command, of leadership at the helm in uncharted waters, even if those waters were the stars. Fast forward nearly a century in the Star Trek universe, and we find Captain Jean-Luc Picard quietly carrying that same symbol forward. On The Next Generation, nestled among his artifacts, Shakespearean volumes, Kurlan Nascos, and archaeological treasures, was a wooden ship's wheel. Though rarely addressed, it can be glimpsed in the background of his ready room in several episodes, especially early in the series. For longtime fans and eagle-eyed viewers, this surprising connection between Pike and Picard became a meaningful thread, a sign that tradition still mattered, even in a post-scarcity future. The presence of the wheel on both Enterprises offers a fascinating window into Starfleet's culture. While Star Trek often champions progress and exploration, it also respects the legacy that came before. Both Pike and Picard represent the ideal Starfleet captain, thoughtful, principled, and deeply aware of the responsibilities of command. By keeping the ship's wheel, each man seemed to silently acknowledge that their role wasn't just about pushing boundaries, it was about steering the course with history as their compass. For Pike, the wheel represented a connection to Earth's past. As one of Starfleet's earliest prominent captains, he often felt the weight of his responsibilities and the rawness of exploring space before the rules had been fully written. In the Cage, Pike expressed weariness about his role, even considering resigning. The ship's wheel in his quarters may have been his reminder of the explorers who came before him, those who braved oceans with wooden hulls and no warp drives. It likely grounded him, gave him a sense of place in the continuum of command. Picard's relationship with the wheel, though unspoken, mirrored this sentiment. From the very beginning, Picard is portrayed not just as a tactician, but as a scholar and philosopher. He reveres tradition, studies history, and respects ritual from archaeology to diplomacy. The ship's wheel in his ready room wasn't just a decoration, it was a symbol of his belief in Starfleet's mission, one rooted in history, discipline, and exploration. For Picard, whose adventures constantly tested his moral and ethical compass, the wheel may have served as a subtle reminder to always steer true, even when the path was unclear. What's more, the visual parallel between Pike's and Picard's ready room subtly reinforces the lineage of the Enterprise itself. Though ships evolve, from NX-class to Constitution to Galaxy, and crews come and go, the spirit of Starfleet remains consistent. It honors knowledge and courage, and respects the lessons of the past while moving forward. Of course, this small detail could have easily been overlooked by casual viewers. The show never directly calls attention to the wheel, and it often sits silently behind more prominent objects or dialogue. But for dedicated Star Trek fans, especially those who love tracking the deeper lore and symbolism of the franchise, it's a delightful Easter egg. It links two captains who, while separated by a century, share a similar gravitas and commitment to the principles that define Starfleet. Moreover, this recurring symbol stands in stark contrast to other captains like Kirk or Janeway, who each led with their own distinctive style. Kirk's ready room, never.